Good morning. I'm meteorologist Lisa Green with a look at your forecast for today. We're talking storms. We are talking smoke again, similar to Friday. Thank goodness the wildfire smoke isn't as widespread as it was on Friday, but it is still impacting us here in the valley and still creating some unhealthy air quality around the region. In addition, we're watching out for storms over the coming days. It's an active week ahead. We want you to be ready for it here coming up. So let's take a look at, first of all, I want to show you a sky cam here. This is zoomed in, our sky cam being used right now to monitor the situation with the standoff in Moorhead that you just heard about from Alex and our reporter team. And you can see what I want to point out on this camera as well is the haze. We do have haze out there. We do have wildfire smoke impacting us here this morning in Fargo and in Moorhead and in other places as well. That continues to be a factor for us here as we make our way through the day today. We're going to be watching out for that for us here in the valley. So let's switch now to our weather graphics, and we're going to talk about the air quality alert. One thing I want to mention here is, again, a reminder, we've only had a couple of these so far this season. It was nice to get a break in between that initial round of wildfire smoke and again this round that's now moved in as we head into July. But it's been a minute since we've seen it, and so it returned on Friday. And just a reminder with these air quality alerts, this is from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. They've issued an alert in effect until 6 p.m. It includes most of our viewing area in Minnesota. Now, I just want to remind you that because we don't have an air quality alert in eastern North Dakota, it might be a little confusing. It's not that we don't have air quality issues during smoke events. Today is a little bit of an exception because it is a little bit better in North Dakota, but we do not get air quality alerts from the state of North Dakota. So even if we were in the hazardous category, you would not see one from the state here. So something to keep in mind, and it's important to keep an eye on your sensors around the region to kind of help you with that. And of course, we're right here to keep you up to date as well. So I want to take a look at our latest information that we've got for you here. We've got our sky cam here in the Goodridge area. This one I've been watching all morning long. And in fact, I'm going to pull this up for you here in just a second. So this is what you are seeing. The current conditions. You can see it does look murky as of right now on this camera view along Highway 1, and this is just to the east of Goodridge. And you can see we still have some smoke there, but I want to pull up our website because during the valley today, right at sunrise, I actually checked in on this camera, and it just went to, and it's there's a thumbnail from that weathercast on our website here that I want you to just kind of focus in on as we take a look at this here. Let me pull, sorry guys, let me pull this up for you. Okay, there it is. Okay, so you can see my text forecast there on the left-hand side. Always good to read that too if you want an update on what's going on with the weather. But you can see the orange behind me in that video clip that is screenshot right there, that thumbnail, and that looked like Mars, like, you know, one of those rovers on Mars captured that because it was so orange. And that is because we, during the morning hours and in the evening hours, the sun's trying to shine through. It's essentially shining across the atmosphere. So instead of directly down through the atmosphere, it's shining across it because it's so low on the horizon. So the light has to get through more parts of the atmosphere to reach us, and that gives the atmosphere more opportunity to filter out some of those shorter wavelengths. That's why we have orange and red sunsets and sunrises because of the wavelengths. The longer wavelengths make it through, and those are the reds, the oranges, and the yellows. And same thing happened here with the wildfire smoke. It filtered out a good portion of the shorter wavelengths, and we got the orange surrounding areas. Really kind of cool, but also a sign of just how bad the smoke was there. So that was just something interesting I wanted to share with you. I thought that was something that was kind of a unique view for us here. So again, this is the view now in Goodridge. We're doing better as far as not being orange anymore, but we still have wildfire smoke in the vicinity. Here's a look at our latest air quality index update. This just updated here in the last, couple of minutes this morning. And so I just want to point out some changes. So a reminder, no data here. I had somebody ask me this the other day on Facebook, okay, there's a sensor there. We know there's a sensor at Fort Totten. Why does it say no data? There's data. Well, this map comes from the EPA, and they are only collecting and including in this map EPA sensors. And that sensor is not an EPA sensor. So unfortunately, they're not pulling in that data. I'm hoping things will get changed over time, but we're not pulling in that data. So I can't just show you a hole here and have you think that things are fine in Devil's Lake. So that's why we put no data there, because the EPA is providing no data for us on this particular map. And unfortunately, these contours aren't something that we have control over. This comes directly from the EPA. So we share it with you to kind of give you an idea of where the highest concentration of smoke is. But yes, this can kind of throw things off a little bit, the fact that we're not getting any data. We kind of have a data hole in this area as far as the EPA is concerned. And I'll show you what we're looking at in the Devil's Lake area in just a little bit. And that's just factoring in, again, in data for this specific contour. So I'm hoping in years to come, maybe sooner than that, it'd be nicer if it was sooner than that, that they update their database and draw in that sensor at some point. But that's something that I can't control, unfortunately. Okay, so now that we've explained that, let's talk about what's going on over here. We've got the unhealthy in red. That is unhealthy for everyone, and that category is actually expanded southward now. Earlier, this map showed it more still in Baudette and Bemidji, but kind of cutting off there. But now Detroit Lakes, Fergus Falls included in this. So this is up and down the valley here in Minnesota, Highway 59 corridor, under this red unhealthy for everyone category. What does that mean? Well, it means that we should all be limiting our outdoor activities, the exercising, that sort of thing outside. And if you are sensitive, avoid being outside if you can, and avoid being out in the smoke where we have those higher air quality index values in those areas. So I'll pull up that map full screen for you again so you can take a full look at that. But yes, we are looking at air quality that is not great in that area. I'm going to pull up. Now this is directly from Air Now. I'm going to pull up this map here from Air Now. And so you can see that there are some sensors that are on the map. This is interactive. And if you look at the top of the screen there, it says fire.airnow.gov. So if you want to be able to access that yourself, you can by going to that website. But I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. The sensors that Air Now is pulling in are these bigger circles. So for Fargo, our air quality right now is, in the particulate matter category, is 76. Not terrible. It's in that moderate range, which is great to see. And then for the Detroit Lakes area, we are at 157, or unhealthy. So that's not good. And you can see, here's the trend on that too. You can see the trend. We had some improvement, and then that started to go back up again here in the last couple of hours. So, some interesting things that you can select by looking at that. And then up toward places like Red Lake, that's another sensor that's pulled into that contour map where you can see we're in the red unhealthy category. But then there are these tiny little circles, and the one at Fort Totten at Devil's Lake is from a company. It's not from the government. Sensor there. So that's not getting pulled in, but if you want to check that, you can on this website. And of course, oftentimes we'll share a list of the most up-to-date sensors as well with you, in addition to the maps too. So again, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at. You can see a lot of smaller sensors in the state of Minnesota in the orange and red category too. Again, that's through Air Now if you are interested in checking that out. Okay, so here's the map again. We'll move on from that and take a look at, let's see what my next graphic is here. We're looking at visibility. So I like to look at visibility to get an idea of where the smoke is. And obviously if you have smoke, it's going to reduce your visibility there. There's also some rain out there too we're going to talk about. So that could also be bringing down visibility in some areas like Carrington. But over to the east, that larger area of of a lot of area sites where visibility is less than 10 miles. That's the wildfire smoke and or rain. Foston, Bemidji at 5 miles, 6 in Baudette. That's not terrible visibility, but again, just seeing it come down lets us know how concentrated the smoke is. We have had smoke bring our visibility down much lower than this before. Hopefully we don't see that this time around. So that's our look at our visibility. I want to take a look now at our map, at our surface map here. So here's a look at surface smoke. This is, again, what we experience here at the surface. Sometimes we'll show you the integrated smoke through the entire column of air because we might be having a lot of haze aloft, but we're fine at the surface. It's more aloft, and it kind of gives us an idea of where that plume is and how long that might hang overhead. Well, we're in it, so we want to show you what we're dealing with here at the surface. So this is our near surface smoke forecast for the concentration of smoke. And anywhere in yellow, that's more in that moderate range. Once we get into the oranges and reds, and of course that purple color, that's when we're talking about very high concentrations. And so we've been experiencing that. That plume is starting to move eastward. So that's going to continue moving on. Now we still have the remnants of that smoke. Eventually it dissipates or kind of essentially mixes out. But we are looking at that smoke kind of hanging around a little bit. What we want to see is no color on the map. So you can see in the Southern Valley, we might get there for this later on this afternoon and evening. This is 10:30, and you can see we get a break from the higher concentrations of smoke at that point. But we're going to have a front move through, and that may draw down smoke yet again heading into Tuesday morning. You can see higher concentrations in the Northern Valley. This may push southward through the day. This is 4 p.m. And then continuing on into the evening hours, you can see that little narrow plume of smoke pushes southward with our model here. So something to keep in mind that, you know, we're not done with it. And let's take a look at our radar now and satellite map. You can see, and if you were watching the valley today, I talked about this very thing, a very different experience on the northern border versus down along the South Dakota line right now. We've got rain showers, we've got gloom, gray skies, and cooler temperatures with these showers that are essentially moving from west to east. In the middle of the valley, we've got a mix of sun and clouds. We've got even a couple of showers and sprinkles going on. And then in the Southern Valley, it's full-on sunshine. So it depends on where you are, and that's going to have a big difference and impact on temperatures too. Just zooming in a little bit more on the rain. I'm not seeing any lightning. I've got our lightning detection turned on here, not seeing that. But we are getting these sporadic rain showers at times, a little more steady over by Devil's Lake, northeastern parts of North Dakota as well. And again, that's where it is a little bit more gray. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more just to show you. Sorry, that was pretty fast. All right, just to show you the extent of this rain. So this is moving east. There may be a bit of a break. This is ground clutter showing up here on the radar, so that's not rain. But there may be more showers that especially move right along the border area and north of there heading into later on this afternoon and evening as well, even after we get a little bit of a break there. So I'm hoping we'll get to see a little sunshine breakout. Speaking of sunshine, this looks sunny, right? We have a nice bright yellow on our graphic here. I like to do this. I think it's fun. Every day has a holiday, right? Well, today's day of the year is National Mac and Cheese Day. And if you're in the Northern Valley, maybe you want something warm and comforting to warm you up a little bit with the cool temperatures we've got going on there. For Fargo, it's pretty hot. I don't know if you want to be making mac and cheese right now on the stove. We're looking at temperatures today getting into the 80s and even getting close to 90 degrees as we get into the afternoon hours here. So by 5 p.m. we could see that. So it's going to be a warm one today, and I want to show you that difference now temperature-wise between north and south. A huge difference. We're looking at some mid-60s in Langdon to perhaps 90 down along the state line. You can see Aberdeen 92 degrees. So if you're south of Highway 2, you've got a hot day in store. And if you're along Highway 2, pretty warm. And then north of there, pretty cool actually. We'll be into the 60s with that rain chance continuing in the Northern Valley. So again, it is going to be an interesting day depending on where you are. I'm going to take this full screen so you can see a little better view of it. And let's get into the map here now. Looking at our hour-by-hour planner for today. And today is a day where we are watching out for severe weather again. It's not going to be during the daytime hours, though. We're looking at tonight. So let's take a look. We've got some clouds and again showers up into the north, and then in the south the sunshine that continues to go on. But notice how it won't necessarily be sunny all day long. We've got some clouds dipping southward here heading into the afternoon, and wind picking up a bit out of the south, gusting into some 20s. And as we work our way into this evening, this afternoon, again, there's that range of temperatures, hoping for a little bit of a break for our friends along the international border. And then some showers going on into this evening. And again, along the border, the rest of us looking fairly good. So if you have some evening plans, you'll be just fine in most areas. Again, border folks may not be so lucky. You may still be seeing some showers at that point. Now let's move ahead late. Look what happens here. We see these storms really blossom and then move through. And unfortunately, I did not put a good pause point in there on that. And I cannot go back and do that without going back into the system. So I'm just going to go back to this graphic and let that play out again so you can see that happen here for you. Okay, so let's see here. We're looking at heading into, and I went a little too far ahead again, it looks like. That's our risk for severe weather. And let's just zip ahead if we can make this move. Here we go. There's a little bit of a delay there. Heading into this evening, we are looking at that potential for some pretty quiet weather for most of the evening hours. But now, okay, so this is about 10 o'clock. Just watch what happens. It's around midnight and beyond where we start to see these showers and thunder showers pop up. And some of them could be stronger to severe as we make our way through the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning. This is 6 a.m. So if you tune into the valley today, tomorrow morning, I may be tracking a severe thunderstorm or two moving through the valley still at that point. And overnight storms could produce some hail, some damaging wind gusts possible as they continue to impact the valley. So that's what we're watching out for tonight. A reminder, these storm risks that are issued from the Storm Prediction Center, they're a 24-hour period. It goes from 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. So today's risk started at 7 a.m. today. It will go all the way overnight and into 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. And so this deeper green area covers the nighttime hours for that risk that we just showed you overnight, essentially. And it's the whole valley, pretty much. There's a couple of counties in the southeast, more in that non-severe thunderstorm category. But we're all looking at the potential for some rain and thunder. And we could see hail up to 1.5 inches in diameter, some ping pong ball size hail, wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. A reminder though, a marginal risk, that's a level 1 out of 5. So that means that it's on the lower end of risk concerns, more likely seeing some isolated severe within the storms, maybe 1 or 2 turn severe, but still it's something to be aware of and to watch out for. And because they're overnight storms, a lot of us are sleeping during the time it's moving through. Want to make sure that we have something to wake us up. Our phones, wireless emergency alerts. We've got the alerts, of course, on our VNL weather app that you can set to go off. Weather radio, NOAA weather radio, really critical during severe weather events, especially overnight while you're sleeping, because those will tone even if they're silent, certain ones. And you have to make sure you get the kind that does this, but the tone will go off whether you have it on or not. So again, looking at the potential for severe weather overnight tonight. And then I want to show you tomorrow as well, because eventually this all kind of migrates eastward over time. And so then we're looking at rain, kind of a scattered rainy thunderstormy day for a lot of places on Tuesday. But the risk for severe starts to shift to the south and east. And it's more focused in central Minnesota over toward Duluth, the Arrowhead as well. But Fergus Falls, up toward Park Rapids, back into Wahpeton, and down into our South Dakota counties, still under that marginal risk for severe storms Tuesday afternoon and into the evening. We could see some fire along the boundary. Behind that, it's going to be a little cooler, in fact, a lot cooler than today, and we're going to see some changes in our temperatures coming up here. So let's take a look at the next couple of days. We'll take this full screen so you can take in the full view of what we're going to be dealing with. Check out Tuesday. We'll be seeing highs in the 60s to some low to mid 70s. Yes, chances for rain and thunder on Tuesday. And then Wednesday. Wednesday is July 16th, mid-July, and we are talking high temperatures in the low to upper 60s. So it's going to feel cool. It's going to feel like summer's winding down. That's not the case. It's just a little blip here. If you love cooler temperatures, you're going to love Wednesday. It does also feature a chance for some rain, though, and maybe a thunderstorm or two as well. So keep that in mind. We've got some active weather ahead of us here in the forecast. And let's move ahead here. I'll pull this back up full screen so you can see it. The extended planner. So again, cooling back over the coming days, with each day featuring a chance for some rain and some thunder. I think our day that we have the best shot at seeing dry conditions would be on Thursday. Now I can't rule out a shower on Thursday, but it does look to be the drier day of the work week at least. So if you've got some things you need to do outside, that might be the day to plan for. Friday yet again, a chance for some thunder showers. You know, our long range models, here's maybe a ray of hope. One of our long range models doesn't have much going on for Friday. Another one does. So it's not locked in, I guess we'll say, here for Friday, but still a chance for some showers or some thunder showers. Slight chance this weekend, but you can see temperatures are making a recovery. We'll get into some upper 70s to some low 80s. And then into next week, we're back to some 80s. That'll feel nice and feel comforting to know that summertime is returning, and summertime weather at least. And we're looking at more active weather to start off next week. So this pattern continues. It's just going to be cooling down as we work our way through it. So if you like the heat and you're in the Southern Valley, enjoy today before we cool down in the coming days. And in the meantime, just know we've got some active weather ahead too, overnight tonight and again tomorrow. We have the potential for storms, some of them strong to severe. And then, of course, the smoke that we've been talking about, we'll continue to monitor that for you. As we get systems moving through, sometimes you get that cold front move through, and it does just happen to draw down that wildfire smoke. So it could be kind of a give and take here this week as we're watching systems move through. So something we'll be watching for as we make our way through the week. And we'll, of course, be here keeping you up to date on the latest conditions as far as smoke is concerned, and of course on any storms that develop. In the meantime, you could go to the VNL weather app to check for the latest, or right to our website that I showed you just a couple of minutes ago. You can get the latest forecast. If you prefer to read it, you can read the forecast right there and check out the weather maps as well. Okay, have a great Monday. I hope everybody has a great week ahead.